some 2v2 utility.
Yeah, and that's where it's going to come, right? It's not going to be so much about the 1v1 unless Niski is massively ahead and can one-round it. It's going to be about Svenskeren and Niski pairing up, layering the cocoon as well as that stun, then trying to burst him down, chase him down. And if you can get those sorts of advantages, you can really start to take over the map and look to snowball bot, where we're going to see Sneaky setting up this turret line and looking to create a permanent push on this turret to whittle away at those turrets, because it's so difficult to actually engage forward into this.
I mean, I just look at this game and I say, if I'm Svenskeren, I'm licking my lips. These are three great lanes to gank for. Maybe mid lane is a bit more situational than top and bot, but this is top tier when it comes to gankable lanes. So Svenskeren's path, things on point, and we're talking about the MVP of the summer season of the LCS. It's going to be a lot to like here, a lot to work with, so it's very much on Sven. 2 camps bot side, both big buffs claimed on his first invasion route.
Looks at the moment to just be getting some vision on where Crash is on that Gragas. We'll spot him out at the Krugs.
Yeah, and he's just pinging him out. They didn't know he was there, but they're actually looking for this, and Crash is fairly low, so he will have to back off very likely. Actually, smiting a small Krug there just for the heal to try to prepare for any potential dive that could have come through. So that alone may help to dissuade this, and Crash is now going to have to defend 3Z as he tries to pick up as much farm as possible.
Super polished move from Cloud9, where Licorice slow pushes as Svenskeren's pathing, his Krugs at worst, and maybe a kill at best. So very much going to be a topside domination. No defensive scuttlecraft. Crash to pick up to even give any extra information.
Yeah, and if Svenskeren wanted to go for it, he could actually potentially double scuttle you, right? He already has the top one. You're going to have permanent push on this bottom side. Preferential recall here for Niski already complete as well. Going back early on, grabbing that rejuve, feeding the Doran's going to be working towards this Tiamat. So, the potential to grab both of those, but it is Crash pathing straight down there. So this is a bit of a risky scuttle, as we actually see, he hit the vision plant, so they now know he's here. We'll see if C9 wants to collapse, and bot lane is actually coming up.
Bot lane's on its way up. Niski has to push.
There's no smite.
No smite, but I believe Crash should just be able to secure this. Has enough awareness of exactly where C9 will.
The call off by Svenskeren came in. If he didn't take his walls, his jungle path would have been awkward, so really wanted to actually return, come through, and have a safer future clear. It gives up a scuttle, but definitely not the biggest objective.
Hong Kong Attitude coming through planes, of course, defeated Isurus Gaming from the Latino America League. First time we've seen both of those regions join up together, but Hong Kong Attitude were able to take the win in a pretty convincing fashion. They didn't really have to show too much against the Latin America counterparts, and Hook's not quite going to connect here from Zeyzal. Unified and Kaiwing very happy to be on the receiving end of shove here in the bottom lane. They're just accepting the wave as it gets towards them and not losing out too much.
Yeah, exactly. And while this is kind of the permanent push on the bottom side, which is perhaps giving Svenskeren more of an ability to have some options for his ganks, they are not denying a lot of farm, right? The farm is essentially dead even here, so Sneaky is moving up that turret line, and I think they are trying to be able to punish and grab those turret plates a little bit more. The initial turret line was set up actually about midway through that lane, and now moving it forward, perhaps trying to punish.
The cost of that pushing is the fact that A, the CS is being safely claimed by the melee Garen, and Kaiwing is also going to be getting plenty of gold on his AP support items, so because of that, he's probably online with plenty of AP stack as the game goes on. Again, I look at the Heimer and think if the Heimer's not silenced and killed, not really sure how much that matters.
Yeah, definitely the case. I mean, you talked about all this dive, all these people that want to go through, and if Heimer is able to build towards the zonies, get the ultimate turret down, these sorts of things, it becomes incredibly dangerous if you cannot one round this guy and knock him down very, very quickly. But Crash has actually snuck up into that top lane. There were assist pings up there from Licorice, so I think he may have some idea that the jungler could be around, and Svenskeren is pathing up that way. But Crash for now not looking for the gank, or just looking to defend any potential dive.
Svenskeren is up here. See Niski on his way up as well, has the exhaust if they do look for a full-on dive. Svenskeren cuts the wave pushing in. There's only 6 minions, and 3Z and Crash should be pretty good at just clearing these ones out.
I've got to give a lot of credit to Crash. Honestly, has really understood where Svenskeren would be and the timings at which 3Z will be in danger, right? When that wave is being stacked and slowly pushed in, that is where you are most at risk, especially without teleport. If 3Z dies there, that's devastating, and they dissuade that. And also, Mission able to grab that turret blade mid.
Pops the Vanguard's edge hit.
Oh, nice.
The disengage we talked about. Too easy. Rocket jump, buster shot. Even had the flash in his back pocket.
Crash's pathing got a turret play. That's half a kill. That's a really nice pickup there from the side of Hong Kong Attitude. So you have to like how well concepted that was. Mid lane exhaust actually used.
Yeah, Ignite goes down onto Niski here, but Niski gets the kill. Will fall in return. 1-for-1 trade in the mid lane.
Yeah, really aggressive play there. That's the kind of stuff that has made a name for Niski in North America. Fully confident to go in for it. The wave, though, I'm not sure if it's going to fully reach Mission's turret. I think eventually it will push in. And they are trying to pressure down here on this bottom side. Second plate goes their way.
Actually pretty greedy by the grass. He goes for Scuttle over trying to reset the minion wave in mid, and it will be so many creeps lost to mid lane. There was an initial ping, and it seemed like Crash overrided his mid laner, gave it up.
Yeah, I thought he was going to sit there, either reset or even just hold, right? If you freeze that wave for your mid laner, the trade of kills is not bad or can even be beneficial, right? You can get an experience and a gold lead despite the fact that it was the first blood going over to Niski. But in this case, the minion wave crashes, and here it is one more time. The ultimate was already used, and that is just a beautiful setup there from Niski, and no hesitation. He knows his limits.
I believe he also timed out the rocket jump. That's why it wasn't used in this play. And again, it seems like nitpicking talking about the minion wave not being picked up, but it was slow pushing in. There was a ping on it, and that was actually the reason why the 1-for-1 was preferential for Cloud9, was that the minions were very unlikely to be picked up by Mission.
I think we can be nitpicky on a world stage. It's the little things that matter in games like this, especially when you have Griffin and G2 in your group and wins against teams like Hong Kong Attitude can totally change the landscape of your possibility of qualifying for those quarterfinals.
Yeah, I mean, people have really talked about this game, as such an important one for both these two teams, because the other two opponents are so monumental, so strong in this group that you really do need to get wins wherever you can get them if you want to try to scrape up enough wins to perhaps upset someone and then have a chance of getting out.
And that's the story today. Now, if Griffin can't back up a performance, then who's to say that actually some of their internal struggles with their late change in coach means that ends up being some fake news. But for now, it does appear to be the story. Cloud9, just know it's a simple equation of needing to win here and not relying on other results.
Well, almost 10 minutes into this game, they have about a 700 gold lead. Svenskeren has been all around the map, hasn't really found perhaps those early connections we wanted. Him and Licorice teaming up, him and Niski teaming up, but there are still opportunities for this Elise to make plays around the map.
And I think more than a mistake from Svenskeren, it's a credit to Crash, who has just played this beautifully, who has been where he needed to be, expecting him, but this may be Crash face checking.
Going straight onto Crash. Crash falls so low. The stun lands onto Niski, but already Crash is down. Niski pushed back. Mission tried to trade in, but Zazel on his way up means that Mission can't do anything more.
Turns out Crash handed in this assignment a little bit late. Only partial credit, guys, to him on this early game. Should be worth mentioning that Cloud9 will back that up with a Mountain Drake and the implied pressure of the hard CC, with Svenskeren has got CS leads in multiple lanes.
And we're going to have to see that again, because I think Crash was like a split second away from the stopwatch being active. That was just before the 10-minute mark where it comes online. So I do believe he died shortly before that. Otherwise, perhaps, would have had the tools necessary to delay long enough or survive even. But it is Cloud9 getting a big kill. And we aren't actually going to get to see the clock here, so we won't know exactly, but I do believe this was seconds before that 10-minute mark, and it'll net them the kill, it'll net them the dragon.
Hard to say whether he would have lived through it, but he definitely would have pressed the button, right? At the end of the day, Cloud9 do pick up that kill, the CS lead up to 16 in top, 14 in mid, things falling into place. Not the greatest trade ever.
No Shroud, he wants it.
Licorice looking for the 1v1 in the top lane. 3Z jumps away, but Licorice curled the meat, not going to have enough damage. Now flashes away, the flash chase from 3Z! Svenskeren on his way, though. He's trying to answer to the death of his top laner. 3Z pops the shuriken, gets cocooned, and Sven sinks in the fangs.
Yeah, nicely cleaned up there by Svenskeren, but Licorice miscalculating a little bit. Perhaps had the E on cooldown, couldn't actually have the slice and dice for the damage. Thought he could make the dive happen when the Shroud was on cooldown there, but taking too much damage from the turret and the Akali ultimate being available meant he was able to have a turnaround.
First idea, we commend him on the execution, not so hot, but well. Pushes the wave, gets a Rift Herald. See if Thatcher can make a bot lane all-in to actually make Cloud9 play. Does not look like that will be the case.
Looks like Svenskeren is going to get the Rift Herald for himself, though. And with a Mountain Drake and a Rift Herald, C9 have had very strong objective control early on in this game. Still got a couple of minutes to use that Herald as well before the plates fall off.
And I'm going to be very interested to see if he actually does commit this to the top side of the map. You know, if you want to put that solo gold perhaps on Licorice, try to get first turret, try to get some extra plates there, and put him more comfortably in the advantage. And it is going to be the play, so I do expect him to actually allow this to be solo gold, but if they want to push immediately for that first turret and Niski's roaming up, I think instead they'll just try to make sure they secure this turret here.
Riftherald's going to charge in. 3Z underneath it, goes into the Twilight Shroud. Licorice maybe looking for the stun. Used it on a minion instead. Svenskeren switches forms and just pushes out the way.
I actually really like ending the laning phase of Akali, who hasn't mainlined Gunblade. The Seeker's Arm Guard delaying the Gunblade timing, that one item, Power Spike, Know and Love, means that it's going to be a one if Akali has that same first threat back line. Teams of C9 will continue to just have combat advantage with their items. And first rotation is very clear. They're very deep.
It certainly is, and I think they're really trying to set up here for a potential dive. They have wrapped around. They are waiting to try to catch Mission on his way back to this turret here, and if Mission mispositions, there is a possibility, but they are going to call it off, backing off, not knowing where some of these members on the map are. And Crash being absent does make it a risky play to look for.
Our plates on Irelia and the Tristana matchup. Music to the ears of Cloud9 fans. Wherever Crash goes, definitely have plenty of spoilers available for C9.
And I think what C9 really is going to be looking for is this next Inferno, right? You know, try to get as much gold in your pockets right now as you can. Look to reset in about a minute. Have that vision prep. Have the most powerful buys you can get. And really look to kind of stake your claim in that area. Because if they can get to the Infernal early, set up Sneaky's turrets, I think it'll be very difficult for HKA to kind of engage into that.
At the moment, Cloud9 with leads in the top and the mid lane. Bot lane is relatively even if you add up both the bot lane and the support's gold, which is of course what you have to do when you're playing a unique Garen lane. But now with a Black Cleaver on Licorice, with almost a Trinity Force on Niski, Cloud9 will be very strong around that Infernal Drake.
If there's ever going to be a moment where we should dive in, speaking of diving in, we're seeing a attempted an all-in.
Crash is on his way. You can see Zayzor was the one looking for the engage. The knockback's actually going to land onto Sneaky, but really, this is just HKA trying to clear out the way. They'll then come up as a three-man group, maybe look to gain control over that river.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to actually look for is just kind of the control in that area. But what I'm wondering, yeah, I don't think that the Gragas ultimate is now going to be up for the spawn of this Infernal. So the question is, you know, was that worthwhile? Sneaky's ultimate is a shorter cooldown and he has more CDR, so likely will have that available. And Svenskeren looking for the counterpunch down here on this bottom side.
Walks onto a ward. It was controlled, so Svenskeren able to now clear that one out. And with 30 seconds on the clock before the Inferno, you can see where C9 Mind is.
They're playing towards timers everywhere. Licorice knows the jungle's been drawn. Bot side, well, I'll go steal a red buff. The 30 seconds before Infernal Drake is when the elite shows. Well, I'll get river control if I'm not getting a gank. So many bloodless objectives being acted one by one as the Cushion 3Z.
Gonna trade just a little bit.
Yeah, Licorice will have to back off. This is actually so interesting. You know, Hong Kong Attitude doesn't look like they even want to challenge this, right? You know, they're actually sending Gary and Yuumi to the mid lane, so Svenskeren, by all means, could just start this up. They're going to try to take away some jungle camps on the top side and look to actually pressure that top lane turret. You know, with the rotation of Mission up there, looking to just get some gold immediately as they don't feel they can challenge.
They just don't feel like they can re-invade a weak side against stacks of CC.
Yeah.
That part I don't mind. Unfortunately, where the trade-ups are coming are a little bit more nebulous. Side of Hong Kong Attitude feels like they're bleeding out a little bit here in terms of gold lead. Around 3,300, although Mission will feel happy about the turret.
Is he looking just to push up this mid lane? As you say, like, the great thing, I think, if you're a Cloud9 fan looking at this game, is the bloodless gold lead that they've had. Yes, they've been 5 kills in the game, but they haven't gained this gold lead by going for heavy skirmish fights. They haven't gained it by trying to catch HKA out of position. All they've done is slowly play the map a lot better than Hong Kong Attitude.
Yeah, they certainly have. You know, and they've utilized their pressure advantages in their lanes to take away buffs, to take away camps when they can, and get turret plates, take the Rift Herald, these sorts of things. My question for C9 really is going to be how well can you close out this game, right? Are you able to do that? Because I have faith that, a player like Sneaky, who's known for learning these new champions, can learn Heimerdinger well for lane, but can you master the late game team fights?
Kieran doesn't hit there with the 3Z. He goes into Twilight Shroud, going to try and jump away, but the rest of Cloud9 are on their way. HKA looking for the fight. The belly button comes in, flash forward. There's the explosive cask as well, but already Crash has fallen. Mission jumps in. Mission looking to flash out. Here comes Unified from the side with Kawing by his side. You can see Licorice going in. The exhaust comes down onto him. Unified still has his flash, and Cloud9 might back away here. They don't want any more of this fight.
Not enough bark behind the bite of the Garen, so able to trade evenly in the moment that Sneaky joined. Well, that was going to be the end of it from the side of Hong Kong Attitude. C9 continue to push, they continue to try to pressure. And what do Hong Kong Attitude actually claim here? Definitely nothing in terms of map control.
Yeah, not much at all, but they do get, I would say, the more beneficial kill. They knock down Niski, and they get another kill onto their Tristana here. Mission, working towards that Zeal second item. It is not going to be straight into the IE. Likely will go for that third. But Sneaky and Zeyzal here trying to keep up the pressure, trying to get as much turret damage as they can and balloon that gold lead.
You can see continuing just to push in this bottom lane. Zeyzal is running the Demolish on Nautilus, so if he can get close, he can chip away at that tower pretty rapidly. Damage coming down onto Crash. The rockets hitting from Sneaky. Unified able to clear against Licorice in the mid lane, but Niski's on his way. He's going to dash forward. Won't go any further.
Such deep vision. The side of Cloud9 in the enemy blue buff area means just relative safety in Svenskeren there. Just give a hug to the duo laners if they need it. So pushing up and slowly, incrementally getting advantages, and Gragas and the mid laner sharing experience in CS where they can.
Ooh, Licorice narrowly avoiding that Shuriken flip. I feel like 3Z could have actually done the reverse Shuriken flip and just get on top of the Q to perhaps play that out, knowing if he had the timer that the ultimate would be on cooldown, but still setting up shop here on that bottom side. They have vision around this turret. They're going to take away the blue buff.
Oh, I think it went to Nautilus.
Yeah, unfortunately, it does go over to Nautilus, but
as a support main, I'm very happy with that. I think that's fine.
You can E-spam for days.
Yeah, chuck out more Qs in the lane. It's fine.
Might have been Nautilus picking up the kill and Sneaky getting it. Hard to tell, but they both got blues. Pushing through here, and it seemed inevitable that an inner turret would fall. It goes down, and Hong Kong Attitude just aren't getting reverse map plays to stem the bleeding.
This is the thing, right? Usually what we talk about is playing to the other side of the map, playing, understanding what you have to give up. Unified in a little bit of trouble, but I've seen enough Garen Yumi to know he can pretty much run away until the dredge line connects. Here comes Crash, knocked back. Sneaky's going to join the fight as well, but Unified's still alive, and Niski's died underneath the tower. He will pay with his life. C9 still chasing. They'll take down Crash at the end of the fight.
And it's just the 1-for-1, but C9 going to try to continue this push. They will be dissuaded by this Garen Yumi, and as you say, so hard to actually fully on engage into that. There's so many melee champions here on Cloud9, and as you're diving forward, you're entering the Yumi ultimate, you're getting rooted up, and Garen is so tanky and so hard to actually lock down with this cat attached to him.
It's just why you're frustrated, right? Because you really want to be taking down this mid lane. Yeah. It's the only thing that is outstanding when it comes to early game balance. But as we outlined earlier, they don't have the same.
They're looking
at mid lane.
Licorice coming in, unspotted on a control ward, looking for Unified. Unified, no flash, no escape for the moment. Pops the courage, trying to get away. Jumped off from Kawing, jumped back in. Licorice knocked away with the buster shot, and still Unified survives.
Yeah, just a well-timed W there from the Garen. The disable reduction, if you time that well. The CC lasts almost not any time at all. So as soon as he actually had that on the Renekton stun, there really wasn't going to be enough lockdown to take him out, but it does cost Mission both his summoners, and C9 looking relentless around this mid lane.
3Z's trying to get in behind him here, perhaps he's found the flank position. The Akali with permanent execution available. Cloud9 still unable to take down that mid lane tower, still with a 3,000 gold lead, 21 minutes in, the Mountain Drake now spawned. Cloud9 have fought around both the dragons so far this game. 3Z gone down towards the bottom side, separated from his squad. Then HKA still able to defend. Now they don't have the inside track, this tower should fall.
And smart of C9 just double down on the mid lane, on the visible. Here's the ult.
Final chapter coming down. Look at the damage already on Zeyzal. He's gone. So has the tower, but Hong Kong
3Z.
Look for more of the fight. 3Z. If you had the stun on the ult, I think 3Z goes in there, but that's being patched out.
Oh, Cloud9 are actually looking to try to threaten the Baron, as we see that Hong Kong's attitude is going down to this dragon. Cloud9 are at least trying to force a response, perhaps pull them off it. They do have the Heimer, which is pretty quick, but this would be way too risky with this Garen Yumi in the area.
Unified gonna face check straight into the Kakuga once again. slow on the disables. Unified gets away. Licorice on the backline. 3Z jumping in the Twilight Shroud. Has to dash away. Dragon goes down. HKA get it. And C9 do not get a kill. Once again, Hong Kong Attitude standing tall here in these mid lane fights.
You know, trying to bait Hong Kong Attitude away from the Drake 45. Not going to get it. They don't start it. Nothing invested. Go for it now. Remember, they don't have the Heimerdinger ult to get this faster.
Yeah, they don't, and HKA likely going to spot it out. Unified in the area, but they were kind of counting on the fact that they would have thought they would reset, but this is going down so quickly. Are they going to commit? Crash is here.
Crash has a blast cone. Crash has an ultimate. Crash has a smite. Good look.
They gotta pull off.
Gavin is low. Unified once again on the front line. Paulos Duet stuns him up, but that Baron now has reset, and HKA can continue to chase it. Sneaky has to flash away. The final chapter did not find his mark, but Cloud9 are pushed away from the river.
Yeah, Cloud9 do get pushed back. I like the attempt because that would have been a normal reset timing there for Cloud9. So they were kind of banking on the fact that HKA would say, yeah, if they went back to base, don't need to check. Some members are on the map. And that is one of the strengths of the Heimerdinger. If you ignore him and allow him to get those turrets set up, the Baron dies so incredibly quickly. But as Papa Smithy pointed out, the ultimate wasn't available there for Sneaky, so it wasn't quite fast enough.
And I think C9 fans have been chewing their nails there because Baron health got down to 3,000. You saw a smart, measured early games fade into irrelevance if the Baron was a 50-50. Do note that only now is stopwatch completed for Sneaky and did not go for zone in second, so his positioning can be a bit more aggressive as he has a couple of node buttons now, including that stop.
Yeah, certainly can, and needed, honestly, after having to blow the flash in the last fight. Also worth noting, though, is these Yumi's items. When you look over at Kaiwing, he is really escalating into this game. You get so much additional gold generation from the support item on Garen, as well as his early Frostfang. Smithy touched on this lane with the pushing lane, being able to kind of farm the gold off of Zazel. And he is getting to that danger zone. You know, these Qs from Yumi really do start to hurt. And if C9 gets poked down really at all before a fight, you no longer can go for that hard engage.
We kept talking about C9 wanting to pull Hong Kong Attitude into fights as the game progresses, wanting to get them towards these neutral objectives. So far, C9 haven't found really the engages that they'd like. Jump away here by Mission as the depth charge came out, but Svenskaren's already fallen. Licorice with the dominance down towards the bottom side of the fight is going to try and get onto 3Z. Stuns him up with Ruthless Predator, but HKA are chasing him from the top. 3Z not separated from his team any longer, but pulled back with a dredge line. Dashes away with the flip, and HKA get a kill and get out.
Yeah, they just don't have the damage to kill this Garen, and he is the only target that is presenting himself. Unified is just running in their face with this Yumi, and Cloud9 do not have the consistent damage really without a marksman to actually burst him down.
And the gold lead that was almost 4,000 is now under 2. 1,500 gold lead here for C9, and unless they can find a way to break through this Garen line, they are going to struggle for the rest of the game.
I feel like they need to go to the side lanes, right? You've seen they cannot actually, break through this Garen. He is going to continue to be so damn pesky, so you need to take the Aurelia and the Renekton and start to split the map. Get vision control, look for picks with your Nautilus and Elise as people are moving back and forth across this map, and stop just trying to run straight at HKA.
And as the game goes on, eventually Tristana has 6 items.
Yeah.
That is a very scary marksman. That is the one counterpoint to the 4 dive buddies having to try to get through a Heimerdinger. And that's where HKA will ramp up. Now that was not necessarily going to be relevant with how well C9 played the first 18 minutes of the game. The past 7, the settling has come in, and like you say, I often think that Garen, both in lane with the Yumi